With SophieZo. I'm Sophie Zillman, the owner and CEO of SophieZo Next Level Business Support, and your host. Today, I'm excited for what I'm going to talk about because this is yet another one of those things that comes from personal experience in my business and life, and it applies to business and life for just about everybody. Well, probably everybody. But I've never been a fan of time management. It's more than that. It goes deeper than that because time is finite. You have, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, et cetera, et cetera. You need to do certain things every day. You need to eat. You need to sleep. You need to take care of yourself. You need to work. There's so many things to do in a day. And you have choices to make about that because it's more about choosing how you spend your time than true time management. For many people, time management gets real restrictive and real um, uh, structured in a way that means they have to do A, then B, then C, and they have to do it at 8 and 9 and 10. And it can be more flexible and fluid than that, especially for people who are the creative, the visionary, who like to go with the flow. I like to call it a happy medium or I'm sorry, not time, but work life harmony. And that is spending your time wisely and doing things with ease and grace and the flow that you need that fits you, how you think, how you work, how you perceive, how you do, and opens you up to, where you really do need to delegate stuff, where you really need to focus your time, and where you need to create time, so to speak, for the finer things in life. Because your business is one entity of your life. There is, friends, family, fun, vacation. There are evenings and weekends. Do you know what those are? Most of the time I do. And here's the thing is even once you go through some of this process and these tips that I'm going to give you today, you've got to remember to keep it flexible because as you've seen in past episodes, shit happens. And you can't always stick to the schedule, even if it is fairly fluid. Something's can come up and things will come up. I mean, hell, you get sick, your dog gets sick, your kids get sick, whatever the case may be. And the way you set this up and do this gives you flexibility to have those days where the shit hits the fan and you can't stick to your schedule either partially or remotely. And here's the other thing, the ease and grace piece of this is because shit happens, you have to do this with ease and grace, especially grace. Give yourself grace, stuff happens. So, and sometimes you have to watch what happens, so to speak, to be able to adjust that schedule and the way you set it up so that it is either more flexible or gets more off your plate that you probably shouldn't be doing anyway. So, here are the tips that I am recommending. And I do actually just recently went through a lot of this myself just this past weekend because I was finding that I was starting to get out of that time harmony or work life harmony. And I was, kind of pushing the boundaries of not being in the ease and grace and time and space that I want to be in. So, one of the first things you need to do, and even if you've done this a million times, I'm even thinking to do this with your quarterly planning or as prep for your quarterly planning, because this is something that's going to ebb and flow if you do it right, so to speak. So first, write down everything you do every day in your business. We're going to break it down into business and life, and then we're going to bring it back together. So first, write down everything you do every day, in a week in your business. And if you need to go a couple weeks out because there are certain things that only happen once a month or something like that, and you may not remember that in the moment, make that list as complete as you can. Then make your list of the personal things you do either each day or each week or monthly, because not everything in your personal life is daily. And I am talking nitty gritty, wake up, shower, exercise, feed the dog, do the different things that are in your personal life. Let's get nitty gritty about this, because the way to get really clear on how to put together a fluid schedule is to start with everything, every little detail that you can think of. So then the next step would be highlight the business tasks on that business list that only you can do. Those are the things that generate the revenue. Those are the things that bring your vision and your business to life. That is, the ideas you want to put into play to create new products, services, whatever. The networking, in the parts of marketing that only you can do. The sales calls, if that's only you can do that. Some people have a sales team, some people don't. It just kind of depends on where you're at in your business and how you feel about you doing it versus somebody else doing it. Then the next thing I want you to do is circle the personal things that you must have in your life. And this is really, and I'm serious about this. Self-care is a must-have in your life, because the self-care takes care of you, body, mind, and soul, so that you can be the best person you can be for your business, for yourself, for your friends and family, etc. So make sure self-care is one of those things you circle. And, of course, there is the other things that are important to you in your personal life: exercise, um, going on vacation, things like that, weekends off, whatever it looks like. Circle the personal things that you feel and desire as a must-have in your life. Then third, in this process of picking out things, so to speak, underline the business tasks you can delegate. Not only the ones you can delegate, the things you should delegate, and the things you hate doing that you must delegate, unless it's just one of those things you absolutely have to do, and then you need to revisit that in a different way. So once you've done all of those things, you can start organizing a daily schedule. And you may want to do it on paper first. You may want to do it directly on your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar, whatever you use for a digital calendar. You may want to build it out in a task management, project management system like Asana or Teamwork, whatever is going to work for you, to map it out, look at it holistically, and then see if that looks good, generally speaking. And then once you create that plan or create that schedule, so to speak, put it on your calendar if it's not in your calendar already, and map it out hour by hour, and not necessarily hour by hour. On, like, for example, on my calendar, I have either 15-minute slots if it's something that I know is going to take just 15 minutes or ish. Then I have 30-minute slots to give myself a 30-minute window to get it done. And then there's other windows of time that I give, an hour, 90 minutes, whatever. And literally map it out to where nothing overlaps. And the reason why I say this is not for like a rigid structure if you're going to do this from 8 to 9 and this from 9 to 9:30, but depending upon what calendar tool you use, there are different ways to view your calendar. And for example, in the Google Calendar, I can turn it on the schedule view on my browser on my computer, and it's literally a one by one task list. So that, here's the thing, if you can't make the actual time slots work 100%, at least get through your task list one at a time. The way and one thing that can help you get through that task list in the time you've slotted for it, especially to start as you're playing with this idea and working on it, set timers. If you gave it 30 minutes to get it done, set a 30-minute timer, see how it goes. No judgment, no frustration, no true failure here, because the failure here is knowing that this time slot's not correct. And how do we fix it? How do we change it? How do we tweak it? So go through this schedule for at least several days, several weeks potentially, and notice where it's not working. Because again, this isn't meant to be a rigid structure where you are going to just go grr and do it. You need to find a way to have it be very fluid and somewhat flexible. And then, of course, after you've created this plan and got it on your calendar to start using, Then there's the plan to delegate the business tasks to your team, hiring people as needed to get it done. Because the key to that schedule and plan working out is getting the things off your plate that you don't need to be doing, because that gives you the time you need to really work through this schedule, to work out this action plan for each day, to really be working effectively, efficiently, and have, yes, it's a structure, but it's not a brick wall structure that you would have to pound through and take a, jackhammer to, wait, that's sidewalks, sledgehammer to break it down to fix it. Delegating to your team. If you don't have a team, it's time to start hiring a team, even if it's one person, a VA, a whatever. But you've got to start delegating the stuff that you don't have to do, that you don't like doing where possible, and the things that just should be done by someone else. Whether you love doing it or not, if you shouldn't be doing it, and I know should is a bad word, don't should all over yourself. It's not about should, really. It's more about, if it's not something you have to do, don't do it. Hand it off. Now, of course, this speaks to hiring, training, all those things. Make sure you have your processes for what you're handing off done, whether that's by you or by hiring someone. First step of documenting your processes so you can hire someone to do those things for you. So that makes the onboarding and training super easy. So get that all going. Look at your schedule, pay attention to how well it works, try to execute it to the best of your ability each day for the first time that you give it a shot. Give it as much as you can into, sticking to it. Set timers, do what you can, but also, again, when you find something that's not working, either look at it in the moment and see if you can rearrange it or update it, or just make notes and review it again, next week, whenever you have, put some time on your calendar to review your progress and see if you need to tweak it. And, of course, make adjustments as needed. And the reason why I think you should do this about every 90 days is because that is going to make it work for you. And because things change, sometimes faster than 90 days, sooner than 90 days. But at least you can go into your 90-day planning, your monthly planning with this schedule in mind, and know that before I go plan anything, before I add anything new, before I start planning the next things in my business, in my life, let's look at the schedule and let's make sure that we can adjust the schedule to fit the new things, or vice versa. So, taking back your time and making it work for you will help you reach success sooner, easily, and sustainably, and you'll enjoy the ride a lot better, a lot more along the way by implementing this kind of scheduling, time management, for those of you who do like that word. I mean, however you look at it, because here's the thing is, just like, I say success is by your design, by your definition, how you use your time and how you look at it, time management, using your time, in whatever the case, again, this is a do what works for you kind of a thing. Nothing is rigid, nothing is the secret sauce, and it's the only way to do things. Nothing is cookie cutter. You've still got to do things in a way that works for you mentally, physically, perceptually, the way your brain works, because we are all wired different. And so you have to take these steps that I've given you and look at your time management, your time implementation, whatever you want to call it, and really take a hold of it and figure out what is going to work best for you to let you have your success and your time off and all the things you want in life, as well as the business success that you want too. And they can go together. You can have that work-life harmony and you can work through it. So if you're ready to take back your time, get things off your plate, even go through this process, I want to hear about it. Comment below on your thoughts, your ideas. Hit me up on social media, DM me, and, even go to my website and book one of my 30-minute free calls. I can help you go through this and have you get a game plan together of what next steps are to make this work for you. Whether or not that includes me working for you, my team working for you or not, let's get you started on this path and then you can go from there. So that's what I got for you today. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see y'all again next week.